Well, g'day, and welcome back again to Jiaoqing. And today we find ourselves in the Baogong Cultural Park, which we're going to have a little walk around here as we talk about our today's subject. Today we're talking about the social credit system here in China because it's a hot topic. There's a lot of misinformation out there. There's a lot of disinformation, there's a lot of mistaken information, and there's a lot of outright lies. So we're going to talk about that. So just to give you an idea of where we are, Baogong was apparently some sort of judicial character, some sort of judge in ancient history. I can't remember the years. As we get down here, we've got a big square, and over to the right we've got a big sort of temple area, or the old home where the guy used to live, I'm not sure. Down here, this little street here, this is full of a lot of cultural places. There's a lion dance school here. Just in front of us there is a judo school. A lot of these places are closed at the moment. A lot of them open in the evening. We're just after lunchtime at the moment, so everything's closed, even if they were open during the daytime. Everybody having their afternoon kip. Before we get into the subject of today, I just want to say a huge thank you. Wake up this morning and see we've just ticked over 500 subscribers, so that's exciting. So yeah, we're just going to walk around the square here as we go through this this subject of the social credit system. As I say, there's a lot of misinformation out there, and we're going to try and set some records straight. The stuff I'm going to talk about here comes from, I don't know, 7 or 8 different articles that I've found, which I will link all of them in the description down below so that you can go and have a read through the stuff that I've read through. There's lots of other articles out there. Some are good, some are not so good. But yeah, go and do your own research. Don't just rely on listening to people like me or anybody else. So, social credit system, what is it? Well, it started out 2014. The central government decided to implement a 6-year plan to build a social credit system. Basically, the idea was to reward actions that build trust in society and penalize the opposite. So, in the media that we've seen in the West, it conjures up images of a Black Mirror-esque web of technology to automatically score Chinese citizens. But in reality, it doesn't exist, and the central government doesn't seem to have much of an appetite for that type of a system. So, what is it? It is a mix of attempts to regulate the financial credit industry, enable government agencies to share data, and promote, say, state-sanctioned moral values, which is a bit of an interesting term. These are interesting little pieces of artwork down here along the front of this stage. Local governments have been much more ambitious, causing controversy and public pushback, which again, if you've read sort of Western media about China, public pushback, you'd be surprised that such a thing exists. But it does. If the government here needs to be criticised, people criticise it, and they do it loudly. A countrywide system will take a long time to materialise. As it is, there's been a lot of local governments, city level, village level, that sort of thing, have tried to implement things. Some have been moderately successful, some have not been successful at all. And we'll get into an example of that in a little while. Okay, first of all, just before we go on, the articles I'm reading from, most of them are from sort of between 2019, 2022. I didn't see much that was more recent than that. So yeah, the most recent one was late in 2022. So November 14, 2022, several government agencies released a draft law, the first attempt to actually codify past experiments. The draft doesn't reflect a major sea change at all. Jeremy Dorm, senior fellow of Yale Law School, apparently said. Yeah, it doesn't actually change much. It is simply trying to pull all the different aspects of financial law together in one place. The law stays close to local rules that cities like Shanghai have released and enforced in recent years on things like data collection and punishment methods, giving them a stamp of central approval. Social credit, the term covers traditional financial creditworthiness and social creditworthiness. Social creditworthiness is a bit of a vague term. It doesn't really tell us very much, but we'll get into a little bit more of that. So the financial side of that, the financial creditworthiness, they will look at financial history and current situation for loan repayments. Market economy is young, therefore lacking a realistic system, a workable system. Yeah, so because the growth here in China, the market system that they're developing is very young. A lot of the systems that we have in the West, that we've had in the West for a long time, are still being put together here in China. They sort of don't have the same experience that we have in the West. So yeah, they're putting stuff together. They're trying different rules and seeing what works, what doesn't. When things don't work here, they do can them very quickly. They're not stupid people. They just lack the experience in certain areas. This statue here is beautiful. So yeah, they're taking things at different. So places like Shanghai have experimented with different ideas, and the central government is basically taking those ideas that work and putting them into a national system. And then we have social credit. Hold on, let me just turn my page here. I did write down heaps of notes, and yeah. So social credit is trying to instill a higher level of trust. They're targeting corruption, telecom scams, tax evasion, false advertising, academic plagiarism, product counterfeiting, pollution, almost everything. It applies to individuals, companies, legal institutions, and government agencies. So it's not just the government instilling things upon people. It actually relates to the government as well. The financial side is equivalent to America's credit bureaus, scoring and maintained. Okay, start again. The financial side is equivalent to America's credit bureaus, scoring and maintained by the central bank. It covers 1.14 billion citizens and almost 100 million companies. On the social side, regulations are patchy and vague. To date, the only system. No, to date, the only. What have I written here? To date, the only system is only focused on companies, not individuals. It is the equivalent to the IRS, FBI, EPA, USDA, FDA, HHS, HUD, Department of Energy, Department of Education, and every courthouse, police station, and major utility company sharing regulatory records on a single platform. So, yeah, they're basically taking all of the various agencies and putting all of that data into one place so that it's easily accessible. If you need to check on somebody, all that stuff, you don't have to go chasing after a dozen different agencies to find out information that you may require if you're planning on doing business with somebody or whatever else may be happening. Right. This is the exit to this Baogong Museum, which is absolutely gorgeous. If you want to see this, go back through the channel. We've actually got a tour through here back in the early days of the channel. Okay, so they put all this data together. The result is an openly searchable by any, the results are openly searchable by any Chinese citizen on a website called Credit China. I don't actually know if it's openly searchable by anybody or if you must be a Chinese citizen and put in your Chinese citizen identity card number or something. I haven't actually gone and had a look yet. The carrot and stick. Individuals or companies receive preferential treatment when dealing with government. Bad credit scores result in being on public lists, banned from participating in government procurement bids, consuming luxury goods, and leaving the country. So yeah, there's if you do the right thing, you're allowed to bid for government contracts and things like that. If you don't do the right thing, you're not. It's that simple, and I don't know that I have a problem with that. You know, if you're a dirty company, you shouldn't be allowed to be doing stuff and making a profit off the public purse, in my mind. This here is the entrance to this museum, and it's yeah, it's a really, really nice spot. Really good little museum. We have this beautiful gate up here, lovely statue out the front. But again, go back and check the video if you want to see more on this stuff. So there was one town, I'm not going to mention the name of the town. The town was mentioned in the article, or in one of the articles that if you go through and have a read, you'll find it. But one town of 500,000 people implemented a system where every resident was given 1,000 points, and they gain or lose points for good or bad behavior. So it was deemed things like posting negative things on social media would be deemed as being a negative thing. Apparently one guy lost 950 points in 3 weeks for posting things. And then if you win, you know, if you win a national sporting competition, they will give you 40 points back, I think it was. And the central government pushed back quite hard on this and said, no, this is not what the system is for. This is not the kind of thing we're looking at. So yeah, that didn't last. It didn't last at all. So, but those are the sort of stories that you hear. These little local things, people hear about them, take it for granted that that is what's happening on the national level, and it's just not. It's not happening that way at all. Incentives for good behaviour, prioritising healthcare provision, or waiving deposits on public housing. If you've got a good credit score, yes, I agree, waiving deposits on public housing. I'm not sure that I agree with prioritising healthcare. I think healthcare should be available to everybody, regardless. You know, even if they're languishing in prison, people have a right to healthcare, in my mind. Sanctions, and most of these are for companies, they're not for individuals. Higher inspection rates, targeted audits, restrictions in government approvals, excluded from preferential policies like subsidies and tax rebates. Again, fair enough, if you're a company and you're not doing the right thing, then yeah, you deserve to be scrutinized, you deserve to be looked at, and you deserve not to receive benefits that people get when they do the right thing. Local governments can be targeted if they fail to pay contracts or fabricate data. companies not paying workers, illegal fundraising, that sort of thing. So from what I understand, most of this stuff in this social credit system thing actually relates to companies, businesses, financial institutions, and government agencies. They're not really targeting individuals. I've spoken to quite a number of Chinese friends here and asked their opinion on the social credit system. Most of them a lot of them seem to don't even really know what it is, because it just doesn't affect their lives. They're not in those sorts of areas where they're going to be affected. And those that do know a bit about it tell me that everything I've heard in Western media is absolutely wrong. So they're the ones that are living here, living under this system, and they seem to think that everything we hear in the West is wrong, so I'm happy to go with their opinions on that. Yeah, you hear stories like, if you're buying unhealthy food, you'll be penalised. Well, no, you won't. It's like we said in the cashless society system. If they were penalising you for what sort of food you buy, or buying too much alcohol, you just go and get cash out of the bank and buy that stuff with cash, and they'd never know. It's just stupid arguments from people who don't really understand what life is actually like here. So yeah, social credit system, to sort of put it in a nutshell, is the main focus is bringing all the different data points from different agencies together into one place, so there's a centralized place where you can search and find out about a company. Individuals, if individuals are affected, generally it's because they broke the law. It's the same as having a criminal history in Australia. But they'll also be following things like your financial history and stuff. So if you don't repay loans and stuff, that'll be in the same system. So they're bringing your criminal record, your financial record, all that sort of stuff into one area, so that someone can go, if someone wants to employ you. So in Australia, if someone wants to employ you, they have to go and look up the criminal history wherever they do. I don't even know where they do that. I've never employed anybody in my life, so I don't know how they do that. But then if you're doing something where they also need to know about your criminal history, and they need to know about financial history, you have to go to 2 different places to look that up, or maybe even more places. Whereas here, they're putting it all into one place. So you go and search that person, it'll tell you their criminal history, their financial situation. Are they in a position to repay loans and stuff? So really, there's nothing really different from what we have in Australia. The only difference is it's being centralised into one place. It's not this big, scary, bloody, I don't know, mass observation of citizens and stuff. That's just not happening. Yeah, so that's the information I've managed to find so far. I'm going to link all the articles that I've taken information from down below. I know I've rambled a bit and I've jumped around a bit. I've sort of written down a lot of different notes from different articles, and they're a bit patchy and all over the place. So yeah, I just didn't have I didn't have the energy to sit down and try and order everything and write a script. I just thought, no, I'll just write down the notes and then talk from my opinion. I'd rather give my opinion. So yeah, go and read these articles, go and look for further articles, see what else you can find if you want to know more. But I wouldn't say to trust my opinion. I'm going from articles I've read. You might find articles that say something totally different. I'm also going from my experience living here, talking to people who live here under this system, that is apparently so bad, and they all seem to be very happy. But yeah, I commented, somebody said in a comment on a video yesterday something about me telling the truth. And my response is, well, I don't know that I do tell the truth. First of all, most things I talk about, I don't know the whole story. You know, I may be mistaken. So go and check, back up what I say with further research. I'm giving the truth from my perspective. And when you're talking about a lot of subjects, a different perspective can change how something is viewed. So yeah, go and look further, dig deeper. The same thing when we listed the YouTubers that I follow. I follow a wide variety of people because I don't just want to hear the one type of story. I want to hear different stories from different perspectives. There was one other thing I'd like to comment on, and hopefully some girls, some ladies, some women who live here in China can maybe comment on this, because it was something that somebody commented that a lot of the female vloggers here in China always talk about how happy they feel here. And I thought about that for a little while. I thought, well, why is that? And then it sort of struck me. I wonder if a lot of that is because they feel safe here. You can walk the streets here any time of day or night and not have to worry about being assaulted, being harassed, all that sort of stuff. It's very safe, and I was thinking that must be a huge weight off of their shoulders. You know, even back, I come from a small hometown. There's places in my hometown where a young single female wouldn't want to be walking the streets on their own at night time, even during the day in some cases. But and this is a small country town in Australia, and so to sort of have that weight off your shoulders in a place like this must be a huge relief. And I was thinking, no wonder they always seem so happy here. And yeah, I'd like to actually hear from some of these people and hear if that is an accurate thing. That was just, again, my perspective, my sort of thoughts on the idea. Only brief thoughts. I haven't thought about it long and hard. I probably have to think about it some more. But yeah, it does make me wonder. Being a male, it's hard to understand that perspective. The same thing, there was another comment came up. What did they say? There was someone who must live in Perth in Western Australia talking about racism and how there's just as much racism now as there was, you know, back in the 70s and 80s. And my first thought was, well, no, I don't think there is. But I think with social media, stuff like that is amplified so much. I don't think there's as many racist people, but those that are, their voices are amplified hugely. But then I had to stop and think, well, hold on. You know, in Australia, I'm a white guy living in a largely white society. So any racism's not really aimed at me. So how sure can I be that racism is less? I don't know, because I'm not really the target of that thing, of that stuff. So I had to really stop and think, well, yeah, maybe it is just as bad. I just don't see it because I'm not on the receiving end of it. So yeah, perspective counts. You know, and there's two little stories telling you how my perspective may well be wrong. So yeah, the stuff I say about social credit system, you know, I'm giving you my perspective from the articles I've read. And like I say, I'll link these articles down below. Go and look further, go and dig further, because it's not a subject I was ever going to cover. And as I started reading stuff, I was getting more and more interested in what's actually happening, because they're actually setting up what does look like quite a good system. So yeah, much easier to use, much more accessible for the general population. And it's not just about targeting individuals and companies. They're actually going after government agencies. And if you look at some of the people who have been done criminally charged and stuff from within government for corruption and all that sort of stuff, yeah, it seems to be pretty successful. There's a lot of people who are going to jail for corrupt activities, which again, these people get put in jail for corruption and everybody gets up in arms about, oh, they're locking up people who disagree with the government. Well, yeah, they disagree with the government. They're corrupt. What do you expect? Just because they're going against the government doesn't mean they're the good guys. They're, anyway. Yeah, I really struggle sometimes when you hear some of these stories around the place, trying to tell you how corrupt China is. And then when they do something about that corruption, they're up in arms saying China's being over authoritarian and rah, rah, rah. Well, what do you want? Do you want to stop the corruption or not? What's your bloody goal here? So, yeah, go and read further. Like I say, this is in no way comprehensive. Like I say, most of these stories come from a couple of years ago. End of 2022 is the most recent article I found that was worth reading. I did find a few more recent ones, but there wasn't much information in there. And yeah, so end of 2022, they actually had this draft law which covers mainly business and financial systems. In terms of the individual stuff, individuals being targeted, yes, it has happened on local levels, and the central government has largely pushed back on all of them, said no, this is not what we're trying to do, and they've had to rescind all these things. So yeah, that's where all the horror stories come from, I think, is from local people trying to implement systems like this. The Western media picks up on that story, claims it's nationwide, while at the same time the national government here is saying no, this is not what we want. So yeah, Western media, I used to trust them. What a fool was I. So thanks for watching, everybody. If you've enjoyed that little explainer, we might do a follow-up on this another time, because I'm going to continue reading about this. There's some really interesting stuff, and I'm still trying to find, there is a page, apparently, the government legislation, the actual legislation that they're looking at, written in English, translated to English, that's available to be looked at. I just haven't found it yet. So yeah, when we do find that, we might do a follow-up and actually talk about what has actually been implemented, as opposed to what's been reported to have been instituted. And the sources that I've used here, they come from both Western and Chinese places. So there's one from the China Daily newspaper, I can't remember. There's the bulk of what I've talked about comes from MIT, as well as a couple of other Western publications. And yeah, like I say, these will be linked down the bottom. So if you've enjoyed that, hit that like button, share with friends who maybe would be interested in hearing what's actually going on here. Subscribe to the channel to hear more. And if you have any questions, comments, whatever, hit us down in the comments section. If you have any ideas for videos you'd like to see in the future, hit us down in the comments section, and we'll endeavour to, yeah, if someone comes up with good ideas. Like, I wasn't going to do a story on social credit system, but so many people asked about it in an earlier video, I thought, okay, well, I better go and do it then. So if you have an idea, hit us up. If there's something, whether it's about lifestyle here or history or whatever, culture here, something you'd like to know, hit us up in the comment section, and we'll go and have a look for you. There was one other thing I was going to mention, and I've forgotten what it was now. No, it's run away from me. So, yeah, try and... I've totally lost my train of thought. There's people walking past, just... you know, little kids running around and stuff. Always makes me laugh. There was a comment, something else that was commented on in an earlier video that I just wanted to briefly mention. Oh yes, that's what I was going to talk about. If you're going to come and comment on this stuff, if you're going to simply be negative, then don't bother, because I'm just going to block your comment, and I'm not interested. I'll just ban you from commenting on my videos. If you have genuine stuff, if you disagree with something I've said, come at me with fact. Come at me, provide the evidence. I'm happy to learn. If I'm wrong, I'm happy to be shown to be wrong. But if you're just going to come and be stupidly negative, just making unfounded remarks, I'm just going to get rid of the remarks. I'm not interested. We had a guy yesterday, and he came on saying something about a friend of his was hurt in China, and he thought he was being crazy, but then he was hurt in China. I'm thinking, well, what the hell does that mean? What is, I was hurt? What? You fell down? You fell off a bike? You ran into a wall? You know, obviously he was trying to imply that the government came after him. And his story was so friggin' ridiculous. And yeah, I just deleted it. And then he tried to say that Winston was forced out of China. Winston is I'm not even going to go into who he is. He's a waste of space. But yeah, just lies. And so yeah, I sort of started responding to him, started typing a response, and I thought, nah, waste of time. Delete the comment, block him from commenting on future videos. If that person does see this video, don't be stupid. So yeah, I'm happy. If you're going to come and try and argue against the things that I've researched, I've found the information for, come at me with information, with actual fact. Don't just come out with unfounded, stupid accusations. But yeah, if you do have further information, post it down the bottom. Help other people learn as well. So that's about it for today. We're going to finish up there. We're actually out on the electric bike today. We're going to get the electric bike plugged in and charged up, because tomorrow we're off filming they're doing a half marathon here, which we're going to go and film. It means getting up early in the morning. Starts, I think, 7:30 in the morning. So we're going to be up at 6 o'clock getting ready, and that's way too early for someone like me. I'm a definite night owl. So 6 o'clock in the morning is no fun. But we'll do it for you. We'll get up early, go and bring you this video. Hopefully this is the last of these. You know, we've done the cashless society thing, and we've done this one now. Hopefully this is the last of this sort of content for a while. I want to get back to actually showing you around, you know, showing you around places like this, these wonderful, wonderful spots around the place. There's still plenty more places I have to show you all, which are just beautiful around Zhaoqing here. So yeah, we're working on that. But if people request stuff like this, so like I say, I was never going to do a video on cashless society, on social credit system. So many people were commenting about it, so I thought, yeah, I better do that then, and help some people understand a bit more. So yeah, let us know what you guys want to see. And again, thank you for everybody who's subscribed, ticking us up over 500 subscribers. That's awesome. Had a couple of videos now, well, one's approaching 10,000 views, The one we did on the YouTubers is approaching 3,000 views. It might be over that by the time I get back home. Yeah, I'm blown away. And yeah, and in that YouTube video, a lot of people commented down below mentioning other YouTubers. I'm going to go and have a look at some of them. Yeah, try and get some more perspectives on life here in China. So thanks everybody for watching. I hope you've enjoyed that. I hope you've learnt at least a little. I've learnt a lot reading about this stuff. How well I've put it across to you, I don't know, but I hope you've learnt a little bit. And stay safe. Like I say, we'll be off videoing this marathon tomorrow, and we'll bring you that in the next couple of days. Thanks for watching, everybody. We will see you all in the next one. Cheers.